morning, Meridian, and welcome to Business Buzz. We're joined today by Dawn Hall, the Executive Director for IDEAL, the Idaho College Savings Program, and Nick Thiros, Field Representative for IDEAL. Welcome, Nick. Thank you. Thank you, Dawn. Good to see you again.
Good to be here.
Thank you. So, can you give us an overview of IDEAL, the Idaho College Savings Program, and how it benefits the families of students looking to go to college?
Absolutely. So IDEAL is Idaho's official state 529 education savings program. It's basically like a Roth IRA, but instead of for retirement, it's for education savings. It can be used for a lot of different things nationwide, and it's just a great way to set your students up for success in their future.
Okay, excellent. So what are some of the key advantages of opening a 521 savings account through IDEAL?
So one of the main advantages is a tax advantage. If you are an Idaho taxpayer, you get a tax deduction up to $6,000 for an individual or $12,000 for a family or for a couple filing jointly for your contributions. So you can donate or contribute for a child, grandchild, niece, nephew, for yourself. Lots of different ways that you can utilize the money.
But it has to be a family member that you're contributing for. You can't just use the money then for maybe scholarship awards or programs.
You actually can. So,
okay.
Yeah. So
all right.
You can, we work with companies, but people all the time, communities out there that do offer scholarships, and they can run it through the IDEAL plan, right?
And you'll probably talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit, right? And then also, it doesn't even have to be for a family member when you're saving. It can be for a family friend. Anybody can open up.
All right, excellent.
That here.
Yeah. So, Dawn, who's eligible to open an account, and what types of educational expenses can the funds be used for? Just tuition, or is it other things?
No, it's very flexible, and that's one of the exciting things about the program. But let's start with the first question.
Yep.
Anyone can open the account basically for anyone. They just need to be over 18 years of age to be the account holder. The beneficiary can be anyone, but you need to have your social security number and the beneficiary's social security number, as well as birth dates and some basic information that way to set up the account. Once you set up the account, then you can have a U-gift code where grandparents can gift into it. They get the tax deduction as well if they're an Idaho taxpayer. So it can be really flexible that way. And then there's lots of different ways you can use it. First of all, you can use it for K through 12, tuition only in that case. But then at the higher education level, it's good for graduate school, 2-year, 4-year, apprenticeships, trade schools. And at that level, you can use it for tuition and also for room and board, books, other supplies like computers, things that you need to do your education. So it's very flexible. Recently, the federal government has changed the laws so that now you can also use it to pay off $10,000 of student loans. So if you're in that situation, you can use the money that way. And also you can roll it into a Roth IRA now if you don't use it for any of those other purposes. It has to meet certain criteria, but so they're super flexible.
Okay.
And another thing I would add to that just real quick is not only can you use it for all trade schools, 2-year, 4-year, all that stuff, but that's anywhere in the country as well.
Okay.
So probably the biggest myth of the plan is people think it has to be used here in the state of Idaho, right? But it really can be used anywhere in the country.
Okay. So, what do you see? I mean, do you see them opening an account for a child, a dependent early on, and then just contributing throughout their their young years before they are looking at college, or are you seeing more of the K through 12 use as well?
We're seeing a little bit of everything now. Obviously, because your growth on it, and this is another advantage, your growth on it is tax free as long as you use it for one of those purposes that we talked about. So the longer you have the account, the longer it has to grow, the more you can put in, that sort of thing. So that's where you get the biggest bang for your buck. However, we do see people putting it in and taking it right back out again in order to get that tax advantage. So we see a lot of different things. We see various ways of account owners too. Sometimes it's the grandparents, sometimes it's the parents, sometimes it's aunt and uncle, sometimes it's just godparents, those kinds of things. So again, lots of flexibility. It's available for a lot of uses. And, the longer you have it, the more you get out of it.
Okay. So most of the time parents are saving for kids, right? That's usually what we're seeing. But we also see a lot of grandparents saving for grandkids. Okay. And I think that reason is, they're a lot of parents are just living day to day and trying to figure out what's happening next, right? Grandparents kind of have that longer term perspective. And then also times those grandparents have that kind of disposable income that they can start saving and doing that. So we do see a lot of grandparents saving for grandkids.
Okay.
And in addition to that, if the parent is the account owner, though, they
Yep.
can give the grandparents what's called a U-gift code, and they can gift into the account.
Yep.
And
Okay.
again, if they're an
Yep.
Idaho taxpayer, they get that tax advantage. So
Okay. But they don't have to be an Idaho taxpayer to gift into the account.
Yeah,
that's
they-
correct.
So if I got grandparents that live in another state,
Yeah.
they can gift in. They're just not going to get that
Absolutely.
tax credit.
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's a great tool. Nick, what are some benefits for employers who
Yeah.
want to offer the Ideal program as maybe a benefit for their employees?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we're talking with the chamber here today,
Yeah.
right? So it makes sense.
Business community.
Jumps into the employer piece. So right now, employers more than ever are trying to figure out a way to attract and retain employees, right? So the Ideal plan is a great way to kind of boost your benefits package.
Mhm.
There's kind of two ways they can do that. One is a free voluntary direct deposit, right? So it's free for the employer to offer. It allows employees to pull money directly from their paycheck into their kids' 529 accounts. It's a true post-tax direct deposit, not a pre-tax payroll deduction.
Okay.
So any of the HR people or payroll people out there will know,
Yeah.
right? Much easier to do the post-tax direct deposit piece on that, right? And like I said, that's free, easy, simple way to offer the plan.
Okay.
And the next step is employers can actually contribute funds into employees' accounts. And they can do that in a bunch of different ways. They can match funds. They can, we have an employer that does it when one of their employees has a baby. They match, just kind of give them seed money to start their 529 accounts.
Okay.
And the employer can take a tax credit for that on their taxes. 20% of their contribution, up to $500 per employee for doing that.
Well, that's a great benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know those educational costs are continually rising and getting to be a big factor in people's budgets.
Absolutely.
So Nick, how can individuals find out more information about how to open a 529 savings account?
Yeah, good question. So if you're an employer looking to offer the plan, the best thing to do is reach out to me directly, right? And I can kind of walk you through kind of how to offer it and what all that looks like. If you're an individual looking to open an account, go to the website, right? idsaves.org is probably the best place to do that. We actually have an app as well called Ready Save 529. People can actually open their accounts directly right on the app. And then lastly, I host webinars every week, just kind of for anybody who wants to join. So if you just want to get a lot more information, ask questions, be able to dig a little bit more into the plan, you can go to the website and sign up for one of those webinars, and you can join me every week.
Yeah. And I think I see you all at different public events and
Yeah,
things with
yeah.
tables, so people can find out more and just stop by and visit with you all. So
Yeah, we try to be as many places as we can. There's not many of us, but we try to be as much out in the community as possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Don, thank you for
Thank
joining
you
us
so
today.
much.
We appreciate
Yes.
you, Don. Nick, very nice
Yes,
to meet
absolutely.
you.
Thanks for having us.
So, Meridian Chamber members, we've got some upcoming events for you to participate in. It's getting our busy season. First one I want to mention is our Meridian Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. That's coming up May 8th. There's tickets available now on our website for that. And then our scholarship luncheon featuring State Superintendent Debbie Critchfield will be May 6th. Tickets are available for that event as well. And then our State of the City with Mayor Robert Simonson is on June 4th. There's sponsorships available to participate in that event. And then finally, our golf classic, our annual golf classic, is June 11th. And there are still a few team spots available. So be sure and get registered for that event coming up in June. Until then, Meridian, have a great weekend.